Good evening and welcome to the March 6, 2023 Common Council, City Connersville. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Councilwoman Phillips.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pastor.
Lord Jesus, we thank you for the opportunity to gather this evening. I pray, Father, that your spirit would be here, that there would be a spirit of unity as decisions are made and different situations are looked at and talked about. God, we ask that you would preside over the meeting, and we thank you in advance for your presence. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'd like to welcome everyone this evening and remind you to please turn your cell phone ringers off. We'll begin with roll call.
Councilman Warner?
Here.
Councilwoman Barrett?
Present.
Councilman Williams Jr.?
Present.
Councilwoman Phillips?
Present.
Councilman Robb?
Present.
Councilman Gray?
Present.
Councilman Collins?
Present. Okay, everyone has the minutes from the February 21st regular meeting. Are there any additions and corrections to those? I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion.
Second. Have a motion, a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Move on down to new business. We have a public hearing approval of pending ordinance 3883. Rosemary, you'll explain that for us?
Every year, we have the pool bond payments, and this is not an appropriated account, so we have to request additional appropriation.
Okay, I want to open the public hearing. Does anyone from the public have anything to say over the pool bond payment? No? I will close the public hearing and open the questions up from council. If there's no questions, I'll approve on first reading pending ordinance 3883, additional appropriation of $112,601.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion, a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. I have a motion to suspend the rules.
Motion.
Have a motion, a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. And I have a motion for third and final reading.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion, a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. On down to item B, we have a public hearing approval of pending ordinance 3884. It's additional appropriation of $250,000 for the Tri-State Food Truck Battle, which we're looking to have this September. I sent everyone in council a spreadsheet that kind of gives you exactly the expected income based on the number of people at pre-sale and at event sale. The parking, the camping, with the gross income, and you can see that just ticket sales alone, 10,000 people will be a payback. That is not including the beverage sales that we're going to do, or that does not also include the sponsorships, because we don't really know what those will be till we get an artist named, which we can't name the artist till we get the money designated for that. But 10,000 people just on ticket sales alone is going to be the break-even point. If it does rain, we have an insurance policy at about $7,000 to $8,000. That will give us our $250,000 back. We have to cancel due to rain, weather, wind. There's all kinds of variables we can put in there. So the payback's pretty easy. We know that we can get 10,000 very easily, especially the way it's going to be marketed. The state is looking to help market it in Indiana now. I met with the mayor's roundtable and talked about it, and the lieutenant governor's help came right to me and goes, we are all about helping this take off, because this is going to be a big deal. We had 2 states have to cancel their trucks, so we have 7 states now, 48 food trucks. That's enough for 50,000 people. We know that when we start getting the headlining act named, that will draw more food trucks in, just in and of itself. So we already know the potential is there for people coming. I don't know how to measure the local impact of the economy, because it's going to be big. Even if it's 10,000 people, they will be eating in our restaurants. Not all of them will come to the food trucks. Even we found if they do, they don't eat their main meal at the food trucks. Especially if you have a concert afterwards, they're going to eat at our restaurants, shop locally, and then go to the concert. I don't know how to measure the impact of the local economy on that. We have local vendors that will be set up at the event selling their products and displays. There will be a car show, and we'll also be doing a food drive to help our local pantries. We are in the final stages of completing a hotel feasibility study. You say, what does that have to do with this? They count all of our events. They sit down and they went through every event we do through the year to help draw and attract a hotel here. And this will be a big piece of that puzzle. We started doing events that bring people in like this that will help us get a more recognizable name hotel. But that hotel feasibility study is being done. That's just information they told me when they were building it. Our local bands will also be there during the day. We'll be having local bands of the day. That's their opportunity to get a wider audience, because we're going to be marketing this in Cincinnati, Indianapolis, and Dayton. That's going to be our target market area. And we're also having a professional broker who, this is what they do. They put on events like this. They're helping us. They already know we know how to put on events. They're like, you guys know what you're doing when it comes to putting on events. But this one's too big for us. And I felt like we needed some bigger help, especially if we're bringing in more than 10,000 people. We think it's going to be significantly more than 10,000, but they're going to help draw that attraction and get the artists to really help bring those people in. So you can see I broke everything down in cost. I could not include all the costs because we don't really know what those are going to be, because I really can't go after sponsorships until we get the artists named on who that is going to be. But we plan on going after some pretty big sponsors. I hope I explained it well enough for you. I don't know if there's any questions. You're more than welcome to ask me any question you want. You may not have all the answers, but I can do my best. So, does anybody from council have any questions on this? Or thoughts? Either way, I'm fine.
I'd rather see this 250,000 go towards building up the ball field in the south end of town.
Well, it still can, but this is money being paid back as well. And that money, I forgot to say this, thanks for bringing it up, but what we make above will be split between the airport and the city, because the airport needs revenue to build some buildings, and we just lost some funding through the FAA. And so we gotta find ways to recoup that money back. So this is gonna be split evenly between them and that. I agree the ball fields have gotta be done, but that's a $5 million problem as well. And this is, anything above 250,000 will be split. So that money will come right back to general, plus a profit.
I really don't see the guarantee in that, so.
On your, where it says pre-sale and at events, are you looking at either or both?
Both.
So
So
like,
we're gonna do
so-
pre-sale tickets.
so on the 5,000 pre-sale, 5,000 at events, so 10,000 total?
Correct.
Okay.
No. That's either or. There's no way to know how many pre-sale versus
Right.
how many at events.
Gotcha.
We're gonna do pre-sale timelines where we said, hey, you can pre-order your tickets by this date, or you have to buy them at the show, where you can save $10 a ticket by doing it pre-sale versus at the show. Same thing with parking. You can pay $5 for parking, or you can pay 10 when you get here. Camping would be the same way. We just guessed at 100 spots because we have a lot of vendors. We have 7 people traveling from 7 states who want to camp out. And so that's the camp out right on the site, right on location, so we just guessed at 100. I've already had a lot of people say, I can't wait to camp out there. They want to come camp and have fun. So at the event, it's $10 more.
Okay.
What is the insurance that built into the 250 or?
Everything's built in the 250. I don't think I need 250, but the problem is I don't know what the riders are from some of the bands. You never know what that is. And plus, we're going to have to, if I get 10,000 people, but if we pre-sell 20,000, that means I got double my security. And so we're going to have to hire a lot of security. It won't change the band or the stage or anything else, but I will have to have more security, more porta pots, more bathrooms, more, there's just a lot that has to go into that. So we gave some fluctuation there. Plus we start getting sponsors in. I mean, I don't even need the 250. I mean, we're going to use those monies wisely, but 250 was my max. I was like, we can do it for this, and that's what we're going to max it at.
And as far as the numbers go, this is just numbers of this plus this equals this. There's no, where do we get the estimate of where we actually will hit or what we're guaranteed? Is there a city that has never put on an event like this that it comes in and that's what they get because they've spent this? Is there any kind of like history built into why this would be a good number to start with?
Well, I think
What-
that the only thing that we could really go by locally is when Friends of Fred was at Rushville concert this past summer. And that was, which band was that? Yeah.
It was a tribute band.
A tribute band, and they had 6,000, I think. I mean, it was
But
packed.
they have like
but-
7 food trucks. not-
Right.
Yes.
Right, and I was going to say, they still had a few of their local people, but they only had a few of the food trucks, and already we have,
The food trucks themselves bring a large following. They told us to anticipate an extra 3,000 to 4,000 people coming for Celebration of Village just because of the food trucks. It happens everywhere they go. With this number of food trucks, they all bring their own following from different states, but you counted the number of followings like 90-something thousand followers.
Combined, their number of following combined, for the food trucks that are registered and paid, they have a combined following of 80,000 people.
Right, and this is on slate to be the largest food truck challenge in the Midwest. That's a big deal, and we're going to market it heavy. That money includes marketing, it includes everything we'll need.
And this is a food truck challenge. It's a tri-state, but it's actually more than tri-state now. It's not just a gathering of food trucks. It's actually a challenge where there are cash prizes for these food trucks.
That's right.
And plus, when you're talking about a concert at this level, the ticket price that we have here is very affordable. You're going to get a lot of people coming in that will see this for a lot less than
That's
what
why we're
they'll see
marketing
at
it between the
anyplace
3
else.
cities.
Yeah.
Plus, we
And
got
I-
an expert who knows what they're doing on that.
When we have 60, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Amanda, but we have 64 trucks registered. We have 46 that are registered and paid,
Yes.
yeah, at this point. And this is just,
And they're gonna accept up to 100. That's gonna be the cutoff.
Cutoff's 100.
And I just wanna point out, Celebration of Ville, last year, we had just our local food trucks, and we had 4,000 to 5,000 people at Celebration of Ville. This is Celebration of Ville on a whole nother level. So if we can get 4,000 to 5,000 downtown, I don't see a problem getting 10,000 plus at the airport for this event with up to 100 food trucks.
Oh, we can fit way more than 10,000.
and I think your
to the
broker,
airport.
I think your broker also said that there wouldn't be a problem with the acts that,
The broker, I've talked to several brokers, the one I'm really leaning towards specializes in outdoor events and festivals. That's his specialty. I mean, they know what they're doing. And they know how to attract the right bands. They know, I gave them a demographic between 18 and 35. That type of music for 18 and 35-year-old in our region, so I know what's popular in our region. They know all that stuff. So I can go for a band I like, but no one else may like them. So these guys know who to attract, so we can get the most bang for our buck. Questions or thoughts?
so you're waiting for a motion?
I'd
do we
ask for
need to-
questions, thoughts, whatever you want. I mean, I want to leave this open as long as possible.
You need to close the meeting
Oh,
and
close
open.
it.
Oh, I didn't open up a public hearing, sorry. Gotta do a public hearing, I was so busy explaining, sorry. I opened up the public hearing for the pending ordinance 3884. I about read it wrong. For the additional appropriation of $250,000 as starter money for the Tri-State Food Truck Challenge. Anyone from the public have anything to say? Got a good group of teens, I'd love to hear what you got to say. Quiet, and I scared them all to death.
I mean,
Anybody?
do you like food trucks?
Do you enjoy concerts?
Typical teenagers.
Yeah, I know.
Does it sound interesting to you?
You think you'd want to go?
I feel like I'm at home talking to my kids. Sorry.
Granddaughter, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, if no one has anything from the public to say, I will close the public hearing and open it up for a vote on approval of pending ordinance 3884 on first reading.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Have a motion and a second.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign.
No.
I didn't hear him.
Two
Two
noes.
two noes.
Okay, we have a motion passed on first reading. Do I have a motion to suspend the rules?
Motion.
I have
Second.
a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign.
No.
Motion will go to third reading next meeting. Move on down to approval of pending ordinance 3885, amendment of various employees salary ordinance. Rosemary?
We left off a critical salary on this ordinance, so we were just adding one. And once again, updating the rest of the form to where we will be following the handbook on the rest of those policies.
Any questions for Rosemary? I'll entertain a motion to approve pending ordinance 3885 on first reading.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Do I have a motion to suspend the rules?
Second.
Second.
I have a motion is second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Do I have a motion for a third and final reading?
Motion.
I have a motion
Second.
and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. This next one, Jeff, I'm gonna have you discuss a little bit about it. It's a discussion on proposed national settlements from the drug opioid. We don't know a whole lot about this. They
Right.
still don't have an answer. They just wanted us to bring it up as far as a public discussion about
And
it.
they actually now are saying we don't need to have anything done on it, so. This will change every single week, but right now, there's nothing that we need to do on our end.
That doesn't surprise me, so. Well, the discussion was gonna be, if you have any questions, we don't know the answers, so.
That's right.
We still don't know the answers, so they were asked to have a discussion, so we did. So we'll move on that one. The next one is acknowledgement of the TIF manager report, Rosemary.
Every year, since we created our first TIF area in 2014, we need to, this might be a new requirement that we need to have the council acknowledge receipt of receiving this.
So this is this report acknowledging the manager. Do we need to vote on that or anything? Just,
I don't think so. I mean, you can't deny that you guys have it.
can I just make a vote that you've acknowledged that you've received the TIF report? How's that?
Okay, that works.
Have a motion on that?
I'll make the motion.
Motion
Second.
and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Everyone received it.
Thank you.
Okay, approval of resolutions 23-15 to 2317 reimbursements. Rosemary?
Council Resolution 2023-15 is a resolution to reimburse $350 into police telephone. Resolution 2023-16 is a resolution to reimburse $50 into City Hall telephone. Resolution 2023-17 is a resolution to reimburse $150 in DOT vehicle repair.
Any questions? If not, entertain a motion to approve resolutions 23-15 through 17.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item G, Scott, you want to come over here, Chief Jones? Sorry. Commission advertise for additional appropriation from the ARP funds. Now, this is going to be a little tricky on the first one because we went ahead and we've been holding off on all this. And when we were doing our budget, we said there was stuff we were taking out of the budget in order to get to the budget we needed to that we were going to replace with ARP dollars. This is some of the things on that list. The SCBA's, we've been holding off as long as we could on this because we applied for a grant. And we didn't want to do this and jump the gun. The grant was supposed to be done in November, I think, was it?
Yeah, they normally quit awarding by the end of the year, and they are still
They're
awarding.
still awarding.
I think everybody remembers when I applied for these last year, brought the quotes in and we discussed it. They're still awarding for last year, and we're in a predicament of where these expire in '24, so we know they have to be replaced. And there's also a price increase April 1st of another 3%.
Right.
So moving forward, we know we have to replace them. If we get them ordered by April 1st, we can use the price that's in front of you. And if we still get the grant, as long as we haven't paid for them, we can use the grant. Jolisa contacted someone today and said that they probably will still award through the rest of March. And we haven't been denied yet, so.
They keep doing that, but in order to get this done, the timeline wise with the advertisement and the appropriations before to beat that deadline, just in case we have to go ahead and include it. We can always back it out at the end, but we want to go ahead and include
Yeah,
it so we can get them ordered if need be.
We knew that we were gonna have to replace the SCBA's. Basically, what you see in front of you is a small list of things that I do need to get replaced. I've had the discussion with the mayor several times last year during the budget process when we were trying to come up with a replacement plan, and wasn't ended up being able to be funded. So we discussed other ways of trying to get this stuff replaced. I can go through each one of them, one by one. Obviously, the first one is the SCBA's. This quote here is an updated quote that is good through the end of March. And this quote here is actually approximately $50,000 more than the quote we got last year when we applied for the grant. So you can see how much the price keeps going up.
Can you explain what the SCBA's are for the audience?
It's the air packs that the firefighters wear, and along with the masks that protects them when they have to go inside and do any kind of fire suppression. And they have standards. They have a 15-year standard, and ours are 09. So, like I said, they expire in 24. So we knew we were coming up, to this point. We've applied for a grant the past several years, and we haven't gotten lucky enough. We still could get lucky, but like I said, we're in a crunch. There's a 3% price increase April 1st, so we could go ahead and approve, or order these. I get them ordered, and then if we get lucky and get the grant before we pay for them, great. But one way or the other, I have to get this. I have to get those replaced.
And these are equipped to work with the new radios through some, I can't explain it, it's kind of freaky, but it's through bone technology.
Yeah, the new radios we're getting, we'll be able to actually communicate with the guys inside fighting a fire, when in years past we haven't been able to. They actually have wireless Bluetooth mics that connect to their radios, and we'll be able to communicate really well with them. It's just upgraded technology, so the new radios that we have ordered will work with these SCBA's really well.
He explained that bone density process, however it works. That just freaked me out. I don't know how it works, but somehow it uses your bones in your body.
New technology. The sound actually comes through the mask somehow. It's when they explained it to me, I was hesitant of putting it on, but it works really. When they came to station and explained it, I think everybody looked at him like he was crazy. But once you put it on, you could hear crystal clear. And there's no replacement for being able to talk clearly to somebody that's inside the building. It's stressful to stand outside and try to communicate. So we're really looking forward to getting all this new equipment.
Are these the only company that produces these?
We discussed that when we applied for them last year. That in the state of Indiana they are, and then I got quotes. If you remember, the quotes that I got from the other company were used bottles,
Right.
and we decided we didn't want to go that route.
Right.
So yeah, this is the company that pretty much quotes it every time. They're out of Indianapolis, and they're the ones that service. We purchased the ones we've got now off of them, and they service them every year. And I think, we probably spend $6,000 or $8,000 a year, servicing, maintenance, and repairing. And these actually, they did tell me that these have a lifetime warranty throughout their whole life cycle. So
But
that's
they're the
another
only
plus.
company also that can service these, correct?
That can service these.
Yes.
Around here, I'm not aware of. That's just the company that we've always used.
But it has to be a certified company to service it.
Yes, yes, and they are the ones who come down and service. They come down and we're required to do a mask fit test every year. All the guys, they hook the masks up to a computer. They're required to do several motions while breathing, and it detects leaks. We're required to do that annually, so this is the same company that comes down and does that for us.
Okay.
Any other questions on the SCBA's?
Scott, so 10-year life cycle, does that bring us up, or do we have more that are still outside of that?
Are you talking about the gear or the?
The fire gear, yeah.
Well, moving down to the second line item.
Sorry.
It's okay. Yeah, the fire gear has a 10-year expiration. Normally, we purchase 4 or 5 sets of gear a year, and I can get that out of my budget. Obviously, we got 10 sets of gear coming up that need replaced this year, and that was in our discussion. He asked me, says, what do you have that we need to get replaced? And, obviously the 10 sets of gear was high on my priority list, so.
And that'll bring everybody back down underneath the 10-year mark?
Basically, the gear that they have that's getting ready to expire gets taken out of service. They get measured, get new gear. Yeah.
Okay, and then we have 4 sets built in to try to replace those every year?
Depending on, we have a spreadsheet that has everybody's expiration dates. The guys have 2 sets of gear. They have a regular set and a backup set. Obviously, we go out and fight fire. The gear's it's soaking wet. It's contaminated. It takes time to wash it. We have a commercial gear washer So then they go back, take the contaminated wet gear off, go get their backup gear. So, and all, the gears just got so many different dates. We have a spreadsheet, and we got, like I said, 10 guys that come up this year that need their gear
But there
replaced.
is
So,
money built into the budget to replace at least some.
yeah, I have 15,000 in fire gear, and and not, that being said, a set of gears $3,000 now when it was like $2,400. So everything just keeps going up, and it just makes it tough. So, any other questions on the fire gear? Moving down to the third one, the assistant fire chief's truck. I was asking to try and get it replaced. It's getting to where it's getting unreliable. A lot of repairs. We've had it at City Garage several times. I mean, it's had to have, axles, several things, and, it's broken down a few times. It's getting to where we're not comfortable driving it out of town anywhere we have to, like to classes or anything like that. So I did put that on the list. I did get several quotes, and Reedman's happened to be a few $100s cheaper. Obviously, I like to spend money locally if possible. I think I got quotes from Rushville, Shelbyville, Newcastle, and then also there's a dealer down south that specializes in like fleet police and fire vehicles, and they actually, I think, stock vehicles a lot, and they were a little bit higher also. So Reedman's was the cheapest quote on that one.
Did you, not to interrupt you, but did you do a Ford here local?
I didn't quote Ford, I quoted the Dodges. I can get a Ford quote. Last time I quoted Fords, they were significantly higher
I mean,
when I got mine in 2020.
now are you required to have a truck?
Am I
I
required?
mean, are you asking for a particular truck, or can you use a
You mean a
car?
specific brand or make, or just,
Do you require to have a truck as a vehicle, or can you use a car as a vehicle?
oh, well, I mean, we prefer to use the trucks because there's several things we can use them for out on the scene, whether it's loading dirty fire hose, loading air bottles. There's several times where we've thrown air bottles that have, where the guys run out of air and they get new air bottles. We'll throw them in the back of the truck, send one of the guys back to refill and bring them back. So the trucks are very handy, and we use them for quite a bit. So I would prefer to have a pickup truck.
I was thinking outside the box with.
Right, and they did used to have cars. When I hired on, they had cars. We, when I took this over, we had a Durango, and Troy had already actually quoted getting a pickup truck, and it was in the process, and I just think, to me, the benefits of the truck outweigh, the other vehicles, because there's so many more things we can use them for.
Now, is this also going to be a four-wheel drive if I looked at it right?
Yeah, it should be comparable to the one that I got in 2020. I told everybody that quoted to quote it the same, pretty much the same options. Obviously, it's going to be a newer model, but it's the same options as the one that I got. And those obviously have went up to their, $10,000 more than what they were when I got mine, so.
Right. I know when I was looking into the police vehicle thing that Fords were a little cheaper than any other thing, so.
I can go quote a Ford. I have no issue with that whatsoever. I know in years past, the mechanics at the city garage always made comments that they preferred to have the same vehicles coming in because it was easier for them to
I know
work
Ford
on,
used to.
work on it. Yeah, he was real big on that. Whether they, end up with extra parts, or they just get so familiar with working on the same type of truck, I think maybe
They know what's wrong with it before you
speeds
pull in.
things up, yeah. So that's always been suggested in the past, so I think that's just why I was going that
I
route.
personally would prefer that we keep it in town, and I also prefer that, we check the other vendors,
Right.
if you don't care.
And I can do that if everyone, wants me to do that, I can do that. I'd like to keep it in town also, but I know it, I'm required to get several bids, so that's why I reached out, to
Right.
the other
I mean,
dealers. so.
sometimes you can beat the price, and if you can beat the price, and I agree with that. We like to keep it here.
I don't have any issues with quoting another vehicle if that's or another make if that's what's recommended.
I personally would ask to see if they would be comparable or less.
I can go up there and get a quote on something similar.
That's all I ask about that, so.
Okay. Anybody else on the truck? The fourth line item, the two mobile radios, these are gonna be in addition to the radio purchase that we just made. We sat down with the Motorola crew and had a meeting, myself, police and EMS, and was going over the numbers, and for some odd reason, the mobile radios come up too short. I'm not sure, I kind of took the blame for that. I think when I called the mayor, and when he asked me to give him a total of radios, I think I may have left my truck and the assistant chief's truck out, so that's where these two mobile radios would go to add to that purchase that we just made. And then last but not least, I do have a couple old generators on the truck that I put in there that they've been on the trucks for quite a few years. I know it's a smaller purchase, but yeah, I would like to see those replaced also. And I just got a quote at the local, Tractor Supply for some Generac generators.
Any questions for Chief? I guess all we're asking for is approval, permission to advertise for the ARP dollars for $353,000 and $10.86.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Move on
sir.
down to old business. Anyone have any old business?
I do. I'd like to announce the appointment of Jeremy Williams, who is a current school board member, as a voting member of the redevelopment commission.
Thank you. Anybody else have any old business? Miscellaneous business. Anyone have any miscellaneous business? Public, now's your opportunity. 5-minute speech? No? Okay. If not, take a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. Have a good evening.